Hello everybody, welcome to the Neil's Homestead. I'm Jeanette and you're in my kitchen today. Our garden is done really well. I mean, it's kind of done better than I ever thought it could do in a lot of cases, and one of those cases is peppers. I can't believe I have so many peppers. So I'm dehydrating peppers for the most part. I'm freezing a few peppers, but peppers are one of the easiest things to dehydrate. And so today I'm going to show you how I dehydrate peppers. I picked about 4/5 of a 5-gallon bucket of these peppers. They're sweet peppers. I can't quite remember the name of the variety, but they're kind of like a Marconi pepper, which is a long sweet pepper. And so I'm going to give them a quick rinse right off. Well, after I've got my peppers rinsed and drained a little bit and put in this bowl, then all I need is the trays for my dehydrator, a cutting board, and I'm using kind of a larger paring knife to do this job. You don't want to use a great big one because it would just be too big, and I don't want something too small because my hands are kind of big, and a larger knife works better for me. So what I'm doing is just slicing down the sides of the peppers. I'm leaving the stem on, leaving the seeds in. See, here's the seeds. And then I might have to take out a little bit of the membrane, although it doesn't really matter if the membrane is there because it's going to dry up to nothing in the dehydrator. Now at this point, this is too big. This will take forever to dry. So one thing about peppers is they do take quite a while to dry. They're very high water and it just takes a long time for them to dry. So what you can do is you can cut them in strips like that, or you can make smaller cuts, like by cutting them across like that where you have chunks. Now I'm always in a hurry and wanting to get the job done as fast as I can, so I've been only cutting them in the strips. And then I'm laying them on my dehydrator tray, shelf, whatever you want to call it. And it's best not to have them piled up. It's best really not to let them touch, but sometimes that's difficult to do, so just spread them out as the best you can and keep doing that. It doesn't take very long to cut through a pile of peppers this way. And if you leave a few seeds in there, it doesn't matter either because they're just going to fall out of there as they dry. And it doesn't matter. People can eat pepper seeds too. It doesn't matter if you get a little seed in your stuff. I'm not real picky, which I guess some people are, and some people would be bothered by having some seeds in there, but I'm not. We did almost all of our garden in our high tunnels. And I want to encourage you, if you are wanting to get a high tunnel and you haven't yet, do it. Now is the time. Because if you could get it now and get it set up this fall, you would be ready to go next spring and get stuff growing in it. The weather is so unpredictable and we never know what it's going to do. It seems like as gardeners we are fighting against the weather. Either it's too wet or it's too dry or whatever, you know. And also it doesn't seem like for the most part that the bugs are as bad in a high tunnel. You can have problems, and we have had problems with white flies, but as far as little bugs getting in there that you have out in your outside garden, it seems like they aren't as bad. Old guy has spent a lot of time keeping the weeds under control. I'm just thinking next year we've got to do something different about weeds, and we own quite a lot of the woven ground cover, and I think that I want to get that out and have that ready. And even if we cut the big pieces into 2-foot strips, I want to put those strips down in between. You got a row here and a row here. I want to put those strips down in between to keep the weeds from growing there. It all happens so fast when the weather turns hot and it's hard to get out there when it's hot and deal with the weeds. You have to about do it first thing in the morning, and it's easier if you just don't ever let it happen. So that's what I'm going to aim for next year. But as I said, it's going to mean we need to get that ground cover out. I know that we have a lot of 6-foot wide ground cover, and I believe we have quite a lot of 12-foot ground cover, 12-foot wide. We had a whole row of it, so I know we still have it. Just got to get out there and find it and get it put to use. So there's always something to think about. What are you going to do next year different in your garden? What are you going to do different? It's always good to be analyzing things. Okay, I'm not supposed to put anything in the middle because right in the middle there's an air hole. So I'm going to get this out to stick it, the first one in the dehydrator. The dehydrator I have is a Cabela's. It's called a commercial dehydrator. I don't know why it's called a commercial. It's just a large one. It has about a dozen shelves, and I keep it outside during the summer because it makes a lot of heat. In the wintertime when you're dehydrating, it's good to have that heat inside, but in the summer, not. So there's my first shelf. Now I've got to get back and get some more done and use up my peppers. One thing that makes peppers extra easy to dehydrate is that you don't have to blanch them. A lot of vegetables you need to blanch them before you dehydrate them to stop the enzyme action that breaks them down. But with peppers you don't have to do that. Another one that you don't have to do that with is onions. They're real easy to dehydrate too, but getting the onions ready to put in the dehydrator, that part's not quite so fun because, of course, you know they make you cry.
Well, I promise that I won't be gone too long. I'll be thinking about you every minute that I'm gone. Well, I promise that I won't be gone too long. I'll be thinking about you every minute that I'm gone. Well, I'm satisfied, tickled too, just to be with you.